Yeah, alright. Thought I'd do a live stream. I figured it would probably be the most popular live stream on his page, so here we are. I said the other day in it as well that I would show you some of the stuff I've been working on book-wise and that, so I've got them bits knocking about as well, some illustrations and some daft ideas, but I thought I'd show you some of my gear and all. It's not working anyway in my live stream, so I don't know if anyone can see this. If you can see this, let me know. Oh, it must have just gone about now. There's people coming. So, at the minute on my page, there's a bunch of mentalists having a dig, having a go at me, having a go at you lot. Just ignore them, innit? Because they're just, I'm guessing they're bored. And obviously they're pissed off as well, because someone keeps showing them stuff that they really don't like. And that's not me. I'm not showing them something that they don't like. Someone else is choosing to show you people something that they know you won't like. So while you do have a problem with us as a taxidermist, your problem should be with these people that are purposely trying to rile you up. Because I've not bothered. I haven't tried to rile you up. I've just been sat on my couch and sleeping. I mean, I only woke up at about 11:15 and there's fucking loads of abuse off people I've never met. So, that's mental. Anyway though, if you don't like the taxidermy, I would say you might like me books, but you're probably not going to like the one I'm about to show. So I've been working on one at the minute, and part of that now as a part in it where it's I'm coming up with different funny ways to torture sloths. So we've got you could put it on a rack. So not the country, but you could put it on a rack. I'm not very good at drawing it, but I think they get the ideas across. So that's a sloth on a rack because they got long arms in it, so it'd be funny. You could use metal to bind the claws together. So you could use a blowtorch. Obviously, safety is a priority, so you want to wear your gloves, your long gloves, and you'll want to wear a metal mask to stop it like burning your eyes. But yeah, if you put metal in between a sloth's toes, you could probably melt them together, like weld them together, weld them shut. Or you could shave dicks into the fur as well to give him some form of disease, like skin disease. The sun will burn them so much and leave dick patterns in the fur. So that's another funny way to torture the pygmy three-toed sloth, because they're endangered, innit? So that's part of what this part of the book's about, innit? Oh, I am ignoring them, Gemma, but I don't think they're going to like this part here. You could attach one to a rocket, and its fucking legs would be flailing me as it goes flying off. It'd be hilarious. You could hang one like that, and it'll... I mean, look at that. It looks like one of them wacky inflatable men, but on a rope. Could be from a street light. Don't have to be in a tree or out. It seems a bit grim to kill them in trees because they die in trees anyway. You could throw one onto a treadmill that's going fast into a wall. I don't know if these drawings are giving out what I'm hoping that they will. Or you could, instead of hanging them or quartering them, you could just draw them with some miniature horses, so the scale's still there. It'd be mental using massive horses for some pygmy sloths. It's just crazy who's doing that. You could milk them till they're dry, so you make the little sloth cry and take his saliva, milk the tits, funnel it into a little cup. You could make louder and louder noises at them, so you could pop a balloon, an air horn, fire a gun next to them just to stress them out a bit. You could force feed a 3 pygmy-toed sloth shitloads of cold ice cream to give it some form of migraine, like a temperature-induced headache. You could shove pennies up its arsehole. That's bound to cause some cuts, some irritation. Again, no funny picture. If anyone wants to doodle these for me and I can put them in my book, if you want to do it for now, and I'll credit you in the book, that'd be mad. I'd love that if someone could do that for me, because as you can see, my drawings sort of get the idea across, but like no one would know that's a penny inside of a bumhole. Like, it's lucky that I've made a spider diagram of all the ways I came up with. What do we got here? Oh, and then this one here, you could systematically chop down every other branch on a tree, so it's really hard for them to get up and down. You don't have to kill them when you torture them, innit? Just be a dick. And this one here is you fill a swimming pool with some form of custard or jelly and put in venomous snakes and lions and just throw one in, like let him dive in, and then just let them go about their business. Probably everything will just drown in custard. But the sloth will probably survive because it'll just stay that still. But I think you got to move quickly, so everything's probably fucked. What else have I got written down here that I haven't? I don't know if I've got any others written. As you can see, I've got this. It's kind of like a list. For milking their juices, it was milk the juices till they are raw and let infection set in. But that's part of the book I'm working on at the minute. It's not just how to fucking hurt animals and that. I mean, it kind of is, but it's in a jokey way. Like, imagine a manifesto, but about someone who's like against animals. I'm not against animals. I love animals. I just think it's funny to do that because a lot of people seem to think I'm mental. Like right now, at the minute, all I can see is Instagram notifications coming up from someone who just keeps tagging vegans. So this lady who's doing that, really, you're just annoying people. You're going out of your way to upset people. These people are supposed to be your what's the word? Not your ideal, but you're supposed to be level with them, socially speaking, in your mind. They're supposed to be your equals. Fucking hell, like, they're socially speaking in your mind to get the word equals. Fucking. Anyway, they're supposed to be your equals. You're supposed to want happiness for your equals. Why would you go out of your way to upset and annoy them? I don't understand. Here's another bit of. I said that I'd read you the bit of about I did for me dissertation when I was at uni about bumholes. But we'll come back to that. Let's show you some animal bits. Now, if you was here the other day for the live stream, you'll have seen it already. So obviously there's nothing new because I can't go to work because this isn't an essential trade. I wish it were, but it's not. Kind of lucky though, because if I was still a butcher, I'd open anyway. That butcher is still an essential trade. But fucking hell, this sellotape, man. There we go. It's gotten cold and fucking set. I'm going mad in this quarantine, not being able to torture sloths on a rack. Fucking give me a few more weeks to finish this book, and you won't even need to, mate. You won't even need to think about it. Who's been playing Snakes and Ladders then this week? Trying to entertain the kids. Well, if you want to remember this time, there's a ladder made of snakes. Iron lung, some mouse lungs and mouse legs in a little robot. He's sold, but he's an experimental one, and because he went, I'll make more when all this is blown over. If it all blows over, if we don't all die horrible deaths. But, that's out of order. Someone's just tagged Ricky Gervais. He's like a personal hero. If he comes on here and starts having a dig at me, I'm going to be kind of annoyed. Not annoyed, just I'm going to have to stop listening to his old podcasts, innit? And because then someone's just shouting at me in the night. Yeah, I'm not going to want that. They keep tagging him. He might find it funny though. I mean, he hates people being horrible to animals and that, which I understand. I do. I don't like people being horrible to animals, but they're dead. It's like saying you can't be you can't be horrible to anything that's dead. You could be, if you throw it at a wall or kick it over a house. I mean, good on you for having that sort of a powerful kick. It might be a bungalow or a caravan, more likely. I could probably kick a dead fox over a caravan. I mean, I'm not trying to show off, but I don't think I could kick a mouse over a house. But anyway, they're dead. Oh, what the fuck does it matter? They're dead. These taxidermy are just doing something a bit different. Anyway, so speaking of something a bit different, how's this for the face there? You see the resemblance? It's got some eyebrows made out of mouse tails, some eyes made out of intestine from a mouse, lungs possibly, I think. Yeah, lungs from a mouse. I'm looking at it from there rather than just looking here. That's the spinal cord of a mouse, the ear of a mouse, which you can probably see better if I go that way, like this. Some intestinal smiles there. You got this fella here. He's like a little crab man, like crab people. So its head is the body of a crab, its arms are chameleon arms, and its body's the back end of a mouse. And then I've used the top end of the mouse, the rib cage, and brought it over the top of a crab body there, so it looks like it's got a bit of a wig on, like a judge made out of dead animals. An alien judge. A rat's head. This one's gone as well, I just can't send it off yet, but yeah, there's a skinned rat's head if anyone wanted to know what one of them look like. We've got these here. These are mouse and chicken intestines. Love hearts. Show them you care, you're like, I'll love you till these intestines disappear. And unless they throw them away, I mean, them intestines are going to stay in there. Last longer than flowers. These people being like, you're disrespecting the animals, you're using mouse intestines to make people show love. How is that showing love? People, why would you give someone some dead flowers that are just going to rot? That's a weird, I think that's a weird sentiment. Obviously, I do it, I buy my missus flowers and that, because, you know, why not? You do that, don't you? But it is a weird thing to do. Because they just rot away. They just grow mouldy in the corner of a room for a while. These aren't going to grow mouldy. You know, it saves you having to be a cheapskate as well, you know, buying like 11 roses and one plastic one and being some cheesy bastard saying, you know, I'll like it till the last one dies. And then you're like, oh, it's not died yet. And then you go in when you had an argument and melt it with your lighter. Exactly like the because the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, so why not through a mouse's stomach? I once tried to make bookmarks out of mouse stomachs, but the resin makes it set weird and change colour. It goes like a little pebble and then it bursts and just smells. Not mine, not these stuff. These don't burst and smell, but when you make stuff out of literal stomachs, I haven't figured out a way to do it properly yet. Here's like, if you ever play Pokemon, it's like Hedgehog but with 2 heads, so it's kind of like the Ino, but it's only, it's floating like Hedgehog. That's the front end of a millipede there. He's got his hands sticking out like some form of something to grab your hands. You can rub his hand for luck. I'll show you this as well. So you can get an idea for how big these T-Rexes are with the hearts. And there's one on a pendant with a little chick's heart inside. You don't need an excuse to show your mum you love her, Chris Cooper. My word, this person. If anyone's got Instagram, find my Instagram, World Around You, and just see what this person just keeps tagging people. They're tagging something called Earthlinged now. Don't know what that is, saying expose this page. I don't understand. If people are really annoyed, why would you keep commenting on my gear and that? Because it just means people show it. Now someone's going, can you believe this? Because I'm supporting the stay home thing. That stay home badge that was on Instagram, it probably still is. I've supported that, you know, and been like, oh, you know, people should stay home. And she's carrying on. She got nothing but time, this lady here. Liam or Noel? Don't know, you know. Maybe Noel, I guess. Good on you for knowing that I'm a mank, though. Some people, that tends to be one of the first questions. My dad was a Scouser, innit, so I've picked up a few bad habits. But yeah, that's a T-Rex with a heart inside. If you just want just a T-Rex, $5 at a pop. Oh, now there's more people tagging Ricky. Oh. And Peter kill animals, man. What the fuck? I bet that's it. As far as I'm aware, allegedly. Hey. But I don't know. The only thing I really know about them anyway is what was in South Park, where that guy's fucking an ostrich and the baby ostrich man wants to die. So I get most of my general knowledge from South Park as a kid. And even now, going back through it and be like, oh, I never knew that. You want to keep hydrated with warm liquids, apparently. So, you know, a little bit of good for the community there. Here's some fish with feet. Oh, cool. I'll give that a go, Claire Lanchester. Or Lancaster. Whichever way, Claire, I will give that a go when I can get into the studio next. It's a town over, innit, so I can't really get there. I can't. I'm not going to say to the police at the checkpoints, I want to go and skin some rats, mate. So, because they'll just either laugh at me or think I'm mental. And they'll fine me. And it'll be 60 quid getting there and back if I get fined twice. Here's a snake eating itself, except I've chopped off its head. So it's just a love heart made out of a snake. And here's some rat spine in a little love heart. They were more so just to see if the shape would hold within them. The spine tends to float around and move around, whereas the snake doesn't seem to properly hold itself in the shape. But you can kind of tell that's a love heart, you know. Maybe you can't tell it's a snake. What else? I got this. These are one of my favourites. These are my Jesus lizards. He's sold as well. Now he's that's a little gecko. Normally the little baby bearded dragons. I got given a bag of baby bearded dragons from a local pet shop. Some woman had brought them in a Tupperware box in the middle of winter, so I'd kept them in my freezer for ages. But yeah, she'd brought them to the shop apparently in a box that she'd rinsed out and left wet. Walked to the shop with it in the middle of winter, and all the fucking poor things died. So rather than going off to an incinerator, getting melted and turned into glue, to make, books and such. They got put on little crucifixes for Easter last year and the year before. But I've run out now. I only make a few at a time. Here's a fish with feet, so his mouse legs, and you've got his spines there. It was quite hard to get him to stick his spines out like that and make him stay. Took a fair bit of faffing around, but I like him, and I think he's pretty cool. What else do we have? We've got these. These are something a little bit pretty. The little geodes. So I get geodes, got blue ones, pink ones, grey ones, all sorts. And then I've put a mouse's heart inside them in resin. So it might not really hold very well in the light. You might not be able to see it. Can you see it if it's back there? Oh, that's ridiculous. I haven't really got a light to be using, but yeah, you got them. What else do we have? Oh, we got this. Here's a little baby, what I think was an embryotic mouse or a very freshly born mouse, which is also sold for snake food. All of these, the fish, the lizards, the snakes, they're already dead. They die in pet shops all the time. So I just ask, can I have them? And they say yes, most of the time. Also, I buy a lot of rats and mice from there, so I'm in I get on with them. So I don't know if that helps. But yeah, there's a little baby mouse with a crab claw and crab arm attached to it. Well, crab leg. Its claw is its arm, really, isn't it? Would you like to read what I wrote about bumholes when I was at uni, when I misunderstood my dissertation? People keep asking how all this came about, and I just kept misunderstanding things at uni. So then I just thought I'd do it all as a book instead. Yeah, this chapter's called Open Wide and Say Arse. And it's ironic and it might be coincidental that someone keeps fucking tagging Ricky Gervais on this. I'd fucking love for him to find this just as I'm quoting him. But I don't think it's going to happen. An obvious avenue to explore would be perverts. More specifically, experimental perverts. Now, it comes as no surprise that people the world over insert foreign objects into their anal cavity for enjoyment. What will come as a surprise is the wide spectrum of things that have been used for such endeavours. It would be easy to show and explain how these individuals have found alternative uses for jam jars, children's toys, stationery, glassware, household appliances, camping accessories, kitchen utensils and small animals. It'd also be easy to pad out these pages with cheap jokes and make fun of these brave members of society, but that'd be too obvious. Instead, here are the top 5 things that doctors have removed from people's arseholes. Number 5. Battery-powered torch. There are many reasons to use a torch in dark areas, but it seems sexual experimentation is one of the main ones. Light bulbs. It takes a certain level of bravery and or self-loathing to shove a very thin glass vessel inside an area full of muscles and blood vessels. Number 3. Mobile phones. Whether it's the vibrations that get the user off or the potential wordplay that excites them is unclear. Unopened sauce bottle. It had a condom on it. This is by far the most upsetting if you let your imagination run free. It implies he was planning on using it later on his sauce for a meal at some point. And number 1, a material with many, many uses and, strangely enough, very connected to what I've just been talking about, which you would think I've led myself onto here on purpose. Epoxy resin. More specifically, 300 millilitres of epoxy acrylic resin, with uses primarily in building. This is by far the most creative anal endeavour. And then you can see there, I'm not going to carry on reading, but I just wanted to get to this picture. That's what happens when you pour resin down your arsehole, apparently. It takes a perfect casting of your arse. I'm not recommending it. Definitely don't do it, because this guy had to have a bit of his intestine removed and sewn back together in different parts, which is called a laparotomy. But yeah, that's a little something I promised at ages. Let's get back to the dead stuff. This one's gone now. This is a little sign that says just married. Go that way. See, it's written in intestines, mouse and chicken intestines. Perfect, for the lover in your life. Might be nice to show a couple of these. These pair here. This is a fish foe. It's like a giant, but a fish made out of lizard legs and half a fish. And I reckon these things would live in a world like we do, and these would be their dogs. So they'd have these on a little lead, and they'd be sitting at the speed bank and that, waiting for the cash to come out of the machine, putting the pin in. And these things are just sniffing each other's arseholes, running around, and then the laws would be passed probably in the 80s in this world to say, oh, you got to have your dog on a lead, and you can't just let your dog out your front door no more and let it run around the estate. So yeah, that's what happened in their world. But now they're dead. Obviously these don't exist anyway. They're real animals, but you're not going to find one of these in the wild. If you do, fucking take a picture and run. Probably run. But I just think they're cool. So what I did to make this one was I took the skin off of a baby chick's head and then stretched the sort of the membrane bits over the neck hole that I'd made by cutting the head off this lizard. And I chopped the tail off this lizard as well so that I could put its bumhole in. If you give me a second, I can show you this lizard's arsehole, which is there. So you see that bit there now? There's a little... I've not got the lighting in this fucking room for this, but in there's a little line, and that's the bumhole of this lizard. And one of these will be the head of that lizard, and obviously the upper body will be connected to this. So it's this head here. This is the extra head on this side, so that would be the head off this lizard here. Can't tell you which chick this was attached to head-wise, because that'd just be mental to know that. But yeah, like look at its peachy arse, like not peachy in shape or texture, just in colour. But I quite like these. I really like using the lizard feet like that. They're pretty cool. Lizard bumhole. Here's a dragon that I made out of a rat head, chick feet, rat spine, and mouse legs. This here is like a little snake monster. So we got a gecko's head, we've got a lizard's head, and then I've put some fossilised shark teeth into the top of its mouth, so it's got big fangs, and then a clown loach's body attached to it. But I thought this might be a good way to possibly have conversations with the people that seem to think I'm mental, but none of them are watching it. So I mean, that's nice. I'm not being harassed. I'm very grateful to that. But they are still harassing me on the social medias. But I mean, what do you lot think of the people that are being mad? Do you think they have are they making valid points? 'Cause I think some of them are potentially valid points, but only if you look at it in a certain way, and I don't see it in that way. And I don't think that's a problem. I think people are supposed to see things differently. I don't think everyone is supposed to feel and believe the same things. It's good that they think so strongly about what they do, because that means that knobheads like, like people that do dog fighting and fucking badger baiting and stuff like that, where they're just cockfighting and that, where they're just being arseholes, they're making the animals fight for their entertainment and stuff. I don't agree with that. Like, I remember when I was a kid and I was walking to the shop and some woman stopped me and went, "Oh lad, you don't want to go further up there with your puppy because there's a guy around there with a German Shepherd getting his dog to attack other people's dogs." Like, that guy there is an arsehole, and thanks to the animal rights activists and the vegans and Peter and all of them, that brings awareness to them sort of people. And they are knobheads, the ones that are attacking animals and making dogs attack each other, training dogs to fight people. They're arseholes, they're the bad people. The people that get cats and just fucking tape them up in a box and fucking throw them down staircases, they're arseholes. But I don't feel like I come under the same umbrella as all of those other people. It's taxidermy. I mean, that's probably not considered taxidermy. I don't know what this is. It's just resin with the dead animals that I've recreated inside. I call them fossils, like a misspelling of fossils, so it looks like fake fossils. But I don't understand how that's comparable. I don't think any of them are words, but I don't get how you can compare what I do to that, and I don't get how you can compare farming to people that kick dogs into cars or throw dogs out of windows and shove gerbils up their arses. I don't understand where them two, apart from them both being to do with animals, I don't think you can have such strong views on something and that. I don't believe you should have such a strong view on something that allows you to then say, I'm blinkering now from everything over there and everything over there because I don't like that, and I'm just going to focus on this and I believe that this happens because of the reason I'm being shown here. But that could be happening because of reasons that are just beyond your peripheral. I don't know if that's a good metaphor, but I feel like these people are struggling to see that, and I feel like they're saying I'm brainwashing you lot. Some of them anyway, one of them at least. And I don't feel like I am. Yous already like this gear. I just make different stuff. Other people make different stuff to me. I use this page to advertise the stuff I make. That's not brainwashing, that's advertising, isn't it? It's marketing. Here's a fish with a chicken's foot shoved up its arsehole. Looks like a rocket blasting through the sky. I purposely put the bigger bubbles in this guy because I wanted it to look like stars. But then all the little tiny bubbles formed and I couldn't get rid of him. Did use a blowtorch and that, but the room was just too cold. There's a bit of 3 bits of snake. It's just a cool thing, 3 lengths of snake. Here's a Virgin Mary with a mouse heart inside. It was supposed to be a Virgin Mark, but I forgot to put the mouse testicles in. So there will be another Virgin Mark when all this blows over. Try and make a few. Here's another little snake with a little baby mouse in its mouth. Yeah, Laura Vickers, they are just winding themselves up. I tried not to wind them up, but I think my responses pissed them off further. But then if I ignore them, other ones get annoyed, so I don't know how to answer them. But not much you can do. There's a little baby chameleon. And as I've said before, these are all already dead. Reptiles and that die loads in pet shops. It just happens. Anything can cause it, especially in the young'uns. So it's just nice rather than full, because otherwise they just get melted or burnt, man. What good is that to anyone? Whereas you can keep them here. Now they might not last forever. Nowhere do I say these things are going to last forever. But that heart inside that Virgin Mary there is going to last a hell of a lot longer than it would if you just put that mouse on a shelf. Or put the heart on a shelf. And I kind of like the idea that it might age with you. Shouldn't though. I've got ones that I've had for 2 years and they still look like pink, bright pink, some of them, because it was a different type of resin that sort of dyed the meat. I don't use them no more. So now the testicles stay a white colour, whereas they used to go like a bright vivid pink because I was using a different type of resin. What else? Here's some more fish with hands. So there's a fish with a couple of little hands. And here's a fish's head on a spine of a mouse with some mouse hands. They just look better, man. I think it's a lot better, that. Just, because imagine, man, how did he settle arguments? How would a fish settle arguments in this weird little world I'm creating of all these monsters that are alive and animals that have... See, I'm personifying these animals possibly more than the vegans and that are, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just going a different way. I'm trying to imagine... Well, I'm not trying. I see them all as these things could be alive and they all have a little natter with one another. Sometimes. But how do fish settle arguments? Well, they can have an arm wrestle now or play rock, paper, scissors. Like people. People want to see animals as all, they're just like people. They're just as smart as us. But I've never seen a fish play rock, paper, scissors. Here's a millipede's bumhole. Just the back end of a millipede. One of the worst smelling things I've ever butchered in my life. The inside of a millipede. You've got to scoop out all the shite from inside there. Couple more little chameleons. Little cute things. So it's not all got to be weird, you know. There's some nice things as well. Did a bit of research for this book I've been working on. Seems as we're losing people, usually the keen ones, so you want to hear about this. So there's a million, I think, it's a while since I read these and made these notes, but I've made it into a whole thing. There's 38.4 million cars on the road and a population of 1.5 million hedgehogs. And it would take 15 years to kill all of the hedgehogs. Cars average 7,900 miles a year. So I did a load of maths here. You can see all my maths and all my workings out. This will all be available in the book I'm working on. And it takes 3,033,600 miles to kill one hedgehog. And each year we drive 303,360,000,000 miles in the country, I think. I can't remember if it's the country or worldwide. I think it's in the country. So we would each need to drive, I think, 400,000 miles a year for 5 years. And that would... Well, basically what I did was I found out how many hedgehogs get killed by cars. And I worked out the predicted... you found research in that to find what the predicted time is that all these hedgehogs will die. And then I found ways to speed it up a bit. So if we was to wall off all of our gardens so the hedgehogs can't get into our back gardens and they could just get onto the street and stuff and roam around a bit wild, they'd get hit by cars more frequently, which would up the chances and shave like half a year, 2 years off the... Because it's supposedly predicted that within 20 years we'll kill all the hedgehogs. And I'm saying we can do that in 10. If we really put our minds to it and just drive like an extra 50 miles a year on average. Wipe them all out, mate. But obviously people aren't going to take umbrage to this, but it's just a bit of fun. It's just taking all the statistics of like fucking vegans and mental animal people and turning them on their heads. So you know, like more people around the world are eaten by earthworms than eaten by any other creature, and it's purely just because we bury them. But if you ignore saying because we bury them, you can make earthworms out to seem like the most evil and vindictive creature that's ever existed, the most dangerous creature that's ever existed. And then you can find other statistics as well, which makes it more fun for me, trying to tie all these things together that don't really belong together. Between the 1970s and 1980s, there was a huge jump in cremations, which could mean that they are fully aware that earthworms are eating us and trying to rise up against us, and it's used media such as Earthworm Jim to try and make us aware that the earthworms were trying to rebel against us and trying to attack us. So that's why when we were in school we were being taught things like if you cut an earthworm in half, it doubles it. Well, that's because I reckon the earthworms have infiltrated our education system, and they were like, oh, we need to spread the numbers, but we were aware of that infiltration, so we started teaching kids that, so kids would do it thinking, oh yeah, I'm making more earthworms, so all the earthworms think, oh, the humans are on our side, meaning the earthworm sides, but really, we're subverting the right word, we're accidentally purposely teaching the kids the wrong thing, so that they'll cut the earthworms in half, so they think they've made two, so they're still happy, but in fact, what they've actually done is lessen the earthworm's grip on the world. So there's one less a year. I can't remember what this statistic is. So this is either there's 700 people per mile squared or per mile cubed, and there's I've not put commas here. So 1,812,991,670 earthworms per square mile. So we are massively outnumbered, massively. But yeah, this is all a thing in AR as well. You know, you could say I looked up all different translations as well of earthworm, and that's what the war on terror actually was, guys. The war on terror wasn't a war on terrorists. It was the war on Earth, the war on the Earth by the earthworms. Look, they just spelt it wrong in all the newspapers. The war on terror. So in Catalan, to say earthworm is cook the terror, which sounds an awful lot like cook the world, as in to make the world a cuckold. So they're making us watch the earth get fucked by earthworms. Or watching the earth watch us get fucked by earthworms, either or. But anyway, that's my live stream for the day, I reckon. Probably won't do one for a few days because you're going to get sick of seeing all this stuff over and over again. But I haven't got that much to show you. I didn't think it was necessary to bring all my skin stuff home with us. But let me know what you think of stuff. I've still got this big fella. And I've still got a couple of these left on the website as well. Little pendants with hearts in stegosauruses. So let us know what you think. I'm hoping that this will have allowed a little bit of discussion with people. But people haven't really taken for it for the discussion. I'm guessing people just got more annoyed by me coming on live while they're all having a dig at me. But no one seems to have wanted to have a go at me. Which is nice, it's positive, so I'm going to get on with my day now.